Dang, not one friend on early?
It's okay. They usually show up right on the dot, if not a little late.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Jeremy's usually first one on, 5 minutes early.
All right, welcome everybody. We're gonna go ahead and give some people a few more minutes to go ahead and log on here. Looks like we don't have any attendees just yet, but everybody from the decision side, welcome. We're gonna go ahead and, like I said, just give everybody a few minutes, and then we'll see if we have any questions come in. As of right now, we don't have any pre-submitted questions. All right, everybody, I just want to come back on here. It looks like we don't have anybody attending just yet, but if we do, we'll go ahead and answer some questions and go through anything somebody might want to go through today. I'll go ahead and pop on here in a few minutes. I'm kind of watching the attendees list as we go. So if anybody does pop on, I'll make sure we go ahead and get them greeted and started off on any questions. Hey, Alex, welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. How are you doing? Caitlin, can we go ahead and allow him to speak? Awesome.
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Do you have any questions for us or anything that you want us to go ahead and help you work through?
Sure. I'm just this is, I think, a pretty simple question, but I have a report that's I've got up on a dashboard page.
Mhm.
And actually I got it on multiple dashboard pages, and I'm wondering, is there a way that I can filter this report differently depending on which page it is on? Or do I just make a copy of the report and change the filter within the report kind of thing?
So when it comes to different filters here, I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen to go ahead and give the decisions. So when we're going into, I'll have to actually probably create a report here. One too many. You've got the different reports that's going to go ahead and do like user permission based. But as far as like the different page that we're on, I'm not too sure. Let me go ahead and come in here. Account. So if you did the different filter based upon the like dashboard it's on, what type of filters would you want to apply for like dashboard A versus dashboard B? Would they be different?
Yeah, so like I've got a, whatever they're called, a flow extension data type.
Mhm.
And in it, I've got a state, right? So the state changes, from as it moves through the, process. And so on some pages, I'd like to see, where the state is equal to open. And on another page, I might want to see where it's open and approved. And on another page, I might want to see if it's open, approved, treated, like
Mhm.
that kind of thing, like basically setting a different, state filter, and it could be multiple different states per filter kind of thing. Depending on which dashboard page I'm putting it on, whether it's a user's dashboard or an administrator's dashboard or a manager's dashboard, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. I feel like the only way we would get around. My first initial thing is to, yeah, let's go ahead and create like just a copy of each one of those reports. But the other thing too is if it's permission based, I wonder if we could go ahead and have, because you should be able to, but if it's by state, I don't know that you can really set up a rule around like the user can see an open state versus a manager can see more states. I would say probably the copies of the reports, just because we can still do like permission based for the users, but because you want to do it around the state, I don't think that's going to be something that we can kind of like differentiate, especially if it's all under one category of state. So like the state is opened and etc.
Right.
I think that's going to have to be different reports there, and you just copy those out from there, especially if
Okay.
all your changes to state.
I mean, that was my initial, gut reaction to solving this problem, but I was
Mhm.
wondering if there was just something a little bit more generic.
I think the only pathway that we've got, and panelists, go ahead and jump in if you want to. The only other path we've got is that permissioning based. But again, the permissioning based could be around like different information there and filters. But I feel like if we want a specific data field to have that filter of like the different statuses inside of the state, that would have to go ahead and be those different reports. And we just set up the filter to where it goes ahead and shows like open or closed and etc. there. I can definitely go ahead and follow up offline for you as well too, Alex.
Okay,
Just see if anybody's tried anything different.
perfect.
Awesome. I see we've got another person that came in and joined too. Welcome, Radley. My name is Ashley. I'm leading today's Lunch and Learn. Do you have any questions or any specific projects that you're working on here?
Hey, Ashley, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. All right. So I'm trying to get a global overview of what's happening across all workflows. Is there a method to see? I want to see two things. I want to see incomplete tasks or open tasks that people have, open assignments, and I want to be able to validate that emails that are going out from decisions are being received. So I'd compare that to like a report from our Exchange server to see what's been delivered. So is there a way to see all emails that have gone out in all open assignments across all workflows?
So a few different ways I think we could go ahead and see open assignments.
Okay.
The first way, and I apologize guys, my laptop shut down on me Monday morning, so I'm working off my personal computer, and it is an old Mac, and it is not playing very nicely with me. So my computer is frozen right now. Radley, we could always go ahead and bring in and make a report off of that. My question though for that is, are all the different assignments under one data structure, or are they throughout different projects and data structures?
They'd be different projects and data structures, yeah.
Okay, so the other thing that we can do there,
Should I join
I
as a
believe,
panelist? Looks like I've been promoted.
you can if you want to. I think
Okay.
Caitlin might have promoted you over there. Just because I'm frozen over on my side here. I'm gonna stop sharing. Maybe we'll go ahead and refresh easier. So the other thing we do is if we go to like settings or like system, admin, then you'll go down to like system tools. You'll be able to go ahead and see a whole bunch of different folders over there on the left-hand side of different reports that you can go through. As soon as we go ahead and have something in front of us here, I can show you. But you have different logs in there already going through some of the different information. It's going to keep track of stuff like flow management, anytime a user logs in. But I'm wondering if one of those reports inside there would actually show us open assignments as well too.
Yeah, sorry, you
Alright.
said that was under in system, then under
Yep. So we're going to
administration
go to administration,
and tools.
system tools.
Oh, cool, you're back again. All right, awesome.
Yep. And then let me see. Event viewer? No. So, and then inside of here too, we've got a whole bunch of different folders, but then we've got our little like ribbons up here at the top too. It's going to go through even more reports. All this stuff is preset like default inside of decisions already. Active users. I'm just going to show you everybody that's online. System activity, job thread. I feel like inside of one of these folders here, we might go ahead and have something that would tell us exactly open assignments.
Wondering if it's flow management. Yeah.
Yeah, so flow management is every time a flow is executed, and then that path there. What's really cool about this is if you ever, and I know this from recent experience here, so we actually had a flow that ended up getting lost, and it was because the assignment was open on somebody's screen and they either timed out or they exited without actually completing that assignment. So we had that flow ID lost. So you can actually come in here, find the flow ID, and then search it down this list here.
Nice.
Running flows, that's everything that's running currently, I'm going to guess. Yeah. Stored workflows. Nope. I feel like the answer to your question, Radley, should be yes. It's just a matter of finding where that is stored at.
Okay.
Or if we could create one inside of the report viewer. All right, so I know that this was one question. You had two questions here though. What was that second part of your question?
Is there a way to see all the emails that have been sent out from decisions to users, like assignment emails?
I feel like that should be like a SMTP server audit log there.
Okay.
Again, I feel like that should be, the answer to that should be yes. But how would we go ahead and create that report? Caitlin, can you go ahead and send me over Radley's questions and let me go ahead and follow up with them, just that way I can go ahead and take a deeper look here of exactly where those would be either created or stored at. Please, ma'am. And then Radley, I'll go ahead and have her get the email over to me too, and then I'll follow up with you via email, okay?
Awesome, Ashley. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, take care.
All right, Alex, you got another question going on here, or you got something to add?
I do. So I'm curious, I've got a report on a dashboard page that is looking at the assignments data set. And I'm wondering, can I extend that with, like right-click actions?
Possibly. That'd be interesting. So like you're able to go ahead and see the assignments that are out for that data set right now?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure if I go to this guy here and I go to, I've got this thing called my historical assignments. And in there, I've got a report called, and the report is called it's looking at the assignment data source. And basically it shows like a list of all the assignments that I have ever been asked to complete.
Okay, then we want to go ahead and try and add right-click actions.
And so I would like to be able to, on my dashboard page, I would like to be able to right-click and go and find the request that I created that required approval. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Sorry, I'm thinking. In order to come in here though, we'd have to actually be able to do that right-click assignment off of one of the data fields here. And I don't know if we will be able to. But that makes perfect sense of like you wanting to actually go in there and do that assignment off of any assignment that you've had before, which is kind of relating back to Radley's question a little bit too.
So, I mean, like my intuition says that this is possible because I can create a data type, and then when I create specific types of data types, it creates configuration folders for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can go into those configuration folders and create events, for my data type to be able to respond to. So I'm thinking that the assignment data type is the same kind of thing. but I'm not sure because it's an out of the box data type. I'm not sure whether it has some, restrictions or caveats or.
Yeah, I completely understand. So while you're talking through that, I just searched the assignments folder. It is under the designers, like you were saying, in the assignments folder right here. I'm not seeing though, and maybe I'm just not on the right one here, but I don't think we're able to actually do those right-click actions on this folder here. So I think the answer is actually no this time, which is a rare answer.
Oh,
I wonder if we could get around this though, by actually building out a data type, embedding the assignments data structure inside of that, and then making that user action on the assignment itself.
lost me.
Sorry. So if we created a data structure, and then you know how you can go ahead and embed smaller data structures inside of one large data structure.
Yes.
I wonder if we could choose assignments for that smaller data structure, and then off of there, for the created configuration folder, do the user actions there. My only concern with that is that's pretty convoluted there, and I'm worried that either number one, it wouldn't work, or number two, we'd go ahead and hit some snags along the way. I like these questions today. We got a few good questions coming through. So I know personally what we do for like my internal team. We actually have an entire task data structure that we go ahead and assign tasks inside of, and that's how we're able to work our different assignments that we need to get done for each day. However, this would be all assignments entirely inside decisions. So this would be across all boards, all projects, everything. So this would be all encompassing. This would be a little bit different. What if, Alex, what if you had like a parent-child relationship set up to where like with a, with like the bus selection, you actually had it come through where when you clicked on that assignment on the report, in a second report, it popped up that assignment to where you could have that user action. Does that make any sense? Or did I lose you?
Didn't understand that.
So what if we have this report and then we have a selection bus set up to where when we click on one item here, on your dashboard, you've got a report that's next to it that populates this assignment inside of a second report viewer that allows you to have the, like it locates that assignment for you, and you can have the user actions in that second, the second report.
So you're saying that okay, so now I have a report viewer that has the assignments data source on it. And I click something and it sends it over to another report viewer, which has what as a data type?
So it actually go ahead and locate like that actual assignment. So wherever, whatever data structure that assignment's located under, it would be that data structure.
I'm lost. Like I thought the assignment data source was a data structure.
It is, but it's not something that we can manipulate to add user actions. So when we're creating out these different assignments and projects inside of decisions, we usually have a data structure that is connected to, which is usually our flow execution extensions, case entities, so forth. So we would
No, I
actually
understand.
be choosing...
So I have people that are approving multiple different types of data sources.
Okay. So that wouldn't work because we need multiple there.
So yeah, so like basically I have a report that's showing everything that you've done. There could be, 30 different decisions projects that each have a data type, and everything that you've ever worked on, regardless of the data type, is shown inside the assignments data source.
Mm-hmm.
But now how do I link it back to what it was that you were actually working on?
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm adding this to my list too. Assignment.
Your to-do list?
Yes. right-click actions. Or at least kind of how we can go ahead and allow them to see. Actions and not assignments. Okay.
I mean, the problem that I'm kind of having is that I actually do have a separate data source or data type that tracks assignments, but only assignments that get completed, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So like for example, one of the things that we do is we use assignments as a means of putting something in a draft state, and that we actually don't end up serializing the type until the person has actually made the decision to effectively click the submit button. So they can kind of go through like a draft loop over and over again, which is basically just creating an assignment, of the form that they're currently working on, but it doesn't get serialized to the tracking data types until they actually click submit. So they can see in the assignments data source all of the drafts that they've worked on as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's
So
why that's why we're going against the assignment data source, because it is a more comprehensive view of all of the assignments that they have worked on, regardless of whether they end up being an actual instance of a process or not.
Okay. I feel like you should be right in the sense of there should be a way to go ahead and have one area where we're able to go ahead and work through all the different assignments there. I mean, technically they do have their inbox to go ahead and work through those assignments there from, but having it on a dashboard would be pretty nice too.
Well, like the idea that you can go to your inbox and see your assignment and get to, but that's for a running flow, right? Like once you've completed your task, that thing is no longer in your inbox. So that's what I want. That's why I'm going against the assignments data set or data source, to show you all of the things that have passed through your inbox. But also I'd like to be able to pull up the information related to that which you were approving, or that which was assigned to you.
Okay.
Because we do give everything an assignment name, but there's a lot more information on some of these forms than you can basically represent in an assignment name, and sometimes people want to actually go back to, and again, like as an administrator, like I can see all of the requests, but you as an individual are approving other people's requests. So we only currently allow you to see your own requests, but we would like you to be able to see the requests of other people for which you have been required to approve.
Gotcha. So extending it out a little bit more too. Okay. Yeah, let me go ahead and take that offline and go ahead and follow up, because just coming in here and looking at the inbox here, we're able to go ahead and see assignments by status and go ahead and include the history. But if you're also wanting to see that last part there where it's like where like you need to be able to see assignments that you need to approve from other people and stuff, that's going ahead and branching out just a little bit from just the assignments assigned to me there.
Right. For sure.
So yeah, we'd have to go ahead and go out one more step there. So yeah, let me go ahead and follow up with you here. And let's see what we can do for a report, because even here, this is still an inbox versus being on the dashboard there. So.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
David, I know you were in here for a little bit. Do you have any questions or anything you're working on that you want us to go over today?
I usually just hop on just to see. I didn't have any questions in particular off the top of my head. Let me see. Let me rack my
Put you on
brain
the spot now.
and see if there's anything. I thought I saw a way to bring in like some sort of a Swagger file and have it create the appropriate data types based on that. So let's say if I have I'm trying to link up to a third party, right? And I'm trying to hit their APIs, right? Like if they give me like the definition of all those things, can I just import that and have it, because I need a data type to store that in, right? Does that make sense?
So you're asking to go ahead and bring a document externally and bring it into side decisions to create a data structure?
Yeah. More like if I want to create a data type from JSON, but like in a mass way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you said a Swagger doc, and so automatically I came over and made the decision Swagger doc. But if we are going to do the, oh, come on, computer, you can do it. But you should be able, when you do integrations, you should be able to go ahead and do like create from JSON. I recently created a data structure from CSV, those type of things too. When you say from bulk though, let me back up a second.
Yeah, like yeah,
What do
exactly.
you mean by from bulk?
So if I were to create, if I do this one that just says create types from JSON, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to ask me to paste a JSON file in there, or it paste the structure or use a file, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is just for one. This is just for one structure, right? Theoretically, one endpoint to hit,
Okay.
right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if I have a bunch of different endpoints that I want to hit, do I have, like, let's say 100 of them, do I have to do this 100 times, or is there like a way, or can I create a flow that says, hey, here's a bunch of like JSON files, can I create those structures?
Yeah, that's exactly what my mind was going to, was to doing a flow that would just go ahead and do it for you. What step would that be though? So there is a way to do this. Because so we have some of the batch processing stuff that we do for our proof of concepts, where we're actually bringing in different JSON files, different CSV files, and we're processing them through a flow that goes ahead and takes in about 5 to 6 different files at once, and we'll go ahead and create data structures for us that we can then use later on in the process.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think
there
I
is
had attempted this before and I couldn't. I don't know. I forget why. It's been a while. I couldn't remember why I couldn't make it work. Because I thought there was a step, like there's a step in there that you, what is it called? I think it's somewhere in, well, I'm using version 6, so I'm a little bit behind you guys, but usually it's in internal services, like to actually create that data structure. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I'm also pulling up documentation too to see if we can go ahead and get it flowing a little bit faster through a doc. So instead of here, we're also going to come through here, scroll up. Oh. You were doing through in a, internal services. Do you remember where?
I think so. Let's see. Trying to remember where it was in there. I think it's is it a data structure service? Entity. Oh, I can't remember. I wonder if it was up here somewhere. Data structure. Try that data structure service.
Oh.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is where I was looking at, right? So, and I thought there was a specific kind in here. I can't remember if I used that first one to add data structure and it asked me to define the type, right? Or if there was a specific one to create like a JSON data structure.
Let me ask the guy that I think built out that first portion there. Do a flow.
Yeah, I was thinking there's got to be a step or something that does that. Like,
It's probably a few. It's probably going to be
yeah.
like a for each. So like for each JSON, it's going to go through
Right.
this. It's going to probably deserialize that and then create that data structure there. So it's going to be a few different ones, but that step to go ahead and
Right. Yeah, I was thinking there's got to be a way to do it in a flow, because I imagine that's how I mean, you have a UI representation that probably does the
create
same thing. I
types
just
in
want
the
to do it
flow.
automatically.
Yeah. So I asked him first, I was like, can we do this? He's like, yeah, you can definitely do that, but I might recommend something else instead. So let's see what he's got. So for that JSON, what type of data do you have coming in?
Let me see. Like I said, it's been a while since I worked on that. Let me just pull ours up and see.
All right, Strauss. So what we've got going on right here is David said that he was wanting to go ahead and do like he can go through integration and create types from JSON there, and that's fine. But if he's got like 100 of those that he needs to do, he was wondering if there was an easier way to go ahead and do like a bulk create data structures from JSON there. What would you recommend?
Yeah, so I think I want to ask a little more information here on that one. And hey, David.
Hello.
So can I ask, when we're sending in all this JSON data, what's the end goal here? Do we need to just grab some values out of these particular ones, or what are we going to do with, I guess, potentially 100 different structures on the fly?
Yeah, so I guess in my head, in my example, right, like we have a bunch of endpoints in our program, right, that I can do like a get, and maybe I want to do something with all that data and then pass it somewhere else, right? So I would have something for like an address, for a vendor, all different kinds of attributes that go on to something, and each of those has its own endpoint that I can do a get and get a response from, right? So, but when I pull that into decisions, I need to load that into a structure to be able to deal with it, right?
Not necessarily. So like the structure does make it easier to do certain operations, but in a case like this, it sounds like that might not be the best fit. Like if you're just trying to grab maybe one or two values from these responses or something like that, then I might see something akin to like using regex, or potentially just
you're just
having
going
it
to parse the string to get what you need.
Exactly, and that might be easier than potentially dealing with that.
Yeah, I see
The
what you're
issue,
saying.
the issue might be memory. Like that'll be, it's probably fine to do in testing to, on the fly instantiate 100 different data types. But at scale, that is going to be very, very cumbersome on your system because those objects will have to live in memory before they're serialized.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I was thinking like not necessarily for bulk type things, but just like on a transactional basis, like that. I wouldn't have thought that that would that would cause like a high load like that. You know what I mean?
I'm not
I
going to
was
say it
thinking
will.
I just want to deal with the like with the object instead of like parsing the string for a couple of values, right? Because like in our system, like we also have the ability to do like to do a post, right? So if I'm getting data from an external source and I want to transform that in the right way to be able to post it, then like I need to either construct that JSON string or have some way to get it into like the shape of that object. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for an incoming payload down the line. Okay. Yeah, so for that portion, like I'll kind of work backward on there. For the incoming payload to your second external system, rather than build it as a whole type and decisions to send. And I can actually, do you mind sharing your screen one more time? I'm sorry, I just don't have my environments pulled up here.
Yeah.
Thank you. And if you can just head to creating a data type or to a REST method. So go inside the service and add a new method to where we would like define a post body. Give us 1 second here while it's just kind of on the fly building for you, David. But what we'll be doing here is I can show you how to parameterize values in a body. So you could build the entire like hard-coded syntax that you want to send. Just copy and paste the JSON into a little spot here, and then you just declare which variables you want to send dynamically. So if we go in this, doesn't matter what we call it, let's just make it a post method. We can leave all the other blanks unfilled, it doesn't really matter. And we'll scroll down, and for that request body format, instead of get string from flow, set this to specify below. And this is what you'll probably want to do, David. So inside here, you could type a bunch of JSON and actually just, start typing some random stuff if you like, name and then colon, sure, whatever you want to do. And then in parentheses there, if you kind of go back up and do curly braces against that, and then just put like the word name, yeah, curly, perfect. And then do name, you'll notice immediately we get a flow step variable. So when you put this step into your flow, it will ask for just what you fill in there. So that might be easier to just parse out the values and then pass the needed ones into a kind of hard-coded body where just those dynamic values can be parameterized. Now, if you really, if there's a need to kind of go in and these might be like 100 different data fields, but they're all distinct, I could also advise using what we would call as like JSON to object, or just sending it to, you could do JSON object and object to data pairs, just so it creates a dynamic list of data pairs. And then you simply use a step called find first in list, where you're looking for that name of that data pair. And then once it's found, just pass out the value into a step like this. Does that make sense, David? Might be on mute.
Oh, it wanted me to join as a panelist or something and it flipped out. I thought, okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's probably the way I would do it. I'd probably go at it the way that we see right here on the screen of just parameterizing those values. As it sounds like, there's an end goal when we grab that many different types of data from an external service. Like you're gonna do some type of transformation, evaluation, all of that good stuff, and then send it back somewhere. This is one of those ones where I think it's easier to kind of build backwards, to where start with that end request and then start building out the flow in front of it to get you these variables.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Your way certainly isn't wrong. You could definitely do it by just typecasting a bunch of different types on the fly and do it that way. It would probably make the flow design a little easier, but this will be a lot lighter on system resources.
I see. Okay. So you're just creating a new REST service method here. Okay.
Yeah, and so like you would to make a call from decisions to the external service, you're going to build something like this regardless. It's going to have that post configured where you're, specifying all that authentication, and it's a simple matter of just popping the new values into that kind of specified body for this endpoint. I personally do this one a lot when I can go copy like a sample request from someone's documentation site and just add new variables as I need.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably just a lot less lift for you here. If I'm being honest, this is what I would do.
Yeah, you have to do this for each endpoint though, right?
Correct. Yeah, there isn't a way to dynamically do that. Just because we would expect that each endpoint would have. They could have their own. The bodies could be very, very similar, or even shared depending on what you're sending and what that endpoint's meant to do.
Yeah.
But we have to build it as such that for the normal case where each endpoint would do a very different thing and have a different body associated.
Okay.
Now, if they're like the same though, Ashley, just hit OK for me, or you might want to go fill up like the name and stuff and do test stuff up there just so it'll let you save it. But what you could do is, build this up, save it, and then just copy the method, go in and change the URL if the bodies are basically the same. If you write, copy method, and there you go. And so you could just use that as your rubric to kind of save you a whole lot of time.
Yeah. And I assume these can be exported and imported, right?
Yeah, they're just part of a project as well. It's just a folder.
I was thinking you assign it to a project and okay.
Yep, and it's just like anything else. It's just another. It's technically actually when you're making this little peek behind the curtain, it's actually a flow you're designing that we just keep kind of silent in the back, where the flow builds the headers according to what you've defined here and then sends that body. But really, that's all you're doing.
Oh, okay.
It's like a hidden secret flow that we make.
Okay, so it's okay. So you're just creating this and you're making this database stored and you're pulling that in the secret flow that you're using.
So the method is stored just like a flow would be. Ashley, can you just hit OK and save this, and we'll go and just put one of these steps into a flow. Just pick any old one. So these flow steps, if you haven't interacted with the internal service for REST service ones, they create a new service under integration and then REST services. And so in here, you'll see all of the potential like parent, services we've defined, and then the actual ones like that test REST we just built or whatever, jobs. Yeah, perfect. You'll see the actual methods underneath each kind of parent service, or the service is more of a like its container. You're contacting Google, and here are the methods associated with said service. But if you'll notice here, we now have that variable for name on this step. So the body that gets sent is built exactly the way that you have typed in that integration window that we saw prior.
Yeah.
So you can just dynamically send values in that body this way.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty that's a good task. We see that one a good bit, but yeah, it does require a lot of moving pieces. This is what I would probably say do. It gives you less. It's always easier when you have less like levers and things to pull in front of you, and it's just a more narrow path for when you're working with that kind of data.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Strauss.
Yeah, not a problem. Good question.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome, David. If you got anything for us next week too, we'll start these again on Monday.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good weekend.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.